Fish with human feet and noses, giant sharks up to 7 meters long, and even a group of monstrous birds capable of murdering and cursing those who look at them with mocking eyes. These are the 5 creepiest animals seen in the Caribbean. Number 5. Humanoid Fish. For veteran fishermen, few things can surprise them. Used to facing almost the worst adversities of the ocean, these men know almost all the secrets of the sea. Although sometimes they can get big surprises. Even Hope McLawrence, a 74-year-old man who has devoted almost his entire life to the sea, has discovered that you can never know too much about one thing. While on one of his morning trips in the Caribbean Sea, specifically in an area near the Bahamas, he managed to catch something that blew him and his crew away. It was a mysterious fish, a creature with legs attached to the back of its body and a face with large human features, of which its nose stood out powerfully. This was thick and with large openings that seemed to try to drink the air. The surprising finding fascinated McLawrence and his crew. That creature had appeared in several fishermen's stories, especially those that came dangerously close to the Bermuda Triangle. Did it mean that this was a species native to this enigmatic place? Many are convinced of it. To this day, however, these fish remain one of the Caribbean Sea's greatest unknowns. Number 4. The beauty of the ocean. Another of the most recurrent sightings recorded throughout the Caribbean comes from a mythological creature that for most people has disappeared from the oceans, but it seems to have taken refuge in this salty sea. We are talking, of course, about mermaids. Female creatures that usually attract sailors with their song and their powerful beauty. However, getting close to them can be fatal. Their cruelty is legendary, and it seems that the reckless who fall for their charms are plunged to the depths of the ocean. You'd be surprised at the number of missing persons aboard ships that are linked in one way or another to mermaid attacks in the Caribbean Sea. It's no joke. Mermaids are part of the folklore of almost every person in this region of the world. In their stories, mermaids are represented in many different ways, although they always coincide in their beauty and cruelty. The natives of each one of these territories trace the great danger in the seas due to the presence of these beautiful beasts, and perhaps their legends come from the very discovery of the New World, as the colonizers claim to have seen hundreds of them during their arrival in America. Of course, there is no way to verify these stories. The only ones who can give an opinion are fishermen and sailors, who are dedicated to the coming and going of the waves and spend most of their lives on the water. So if they claim to have seen them, we'd better be careful, very careful. Number 3. Giant sharks. The Caribbean isn't known for having large marine predators. Sharks are rare in waters as warm as those of this part of the world. That doesn't mean that every now and then some specimen appears to cause commotion and chaos. One of the most emblematic cases that have been recorded can be found in the famous Cajamar monster, a creature that caused great havoc in the lives of Cuban fishermen, who went out early in the morning in 1945 but rarely returned home. The reason for these accelerated disappearances came logically from the ocean. They quickly found a clear culprit. It was a merciless and monstrous creature, a vile and perverse being that reached more than 7 meters in length and had such a large jaw that it was able to crush the fishermen's boats without any problem. Alerted by the presence of such a predator, the inhabitants of Cajamar decided to organize themselves to confront the creature. So one morning they deployed their tools. They placed a heavy hook baited with fish and a series of wooden floats around the boat. They waited a few minutes and then the impossible happened. The shark fin was the first thing they saw, although they didn't have much time to see it. The shark had the strength of a demon, and the fishermen quickly discovered that it was bigger than their own boat. Unfortunately, There was no turning back. For more than 2 hours, this monster and its captors fought for victory until, at last, the fishermen managed to wound it in so many different places that the impossible happened. They managed to defeat the beast. When they reached the shore, they were horrified. They didn't know it yet, but this was one of the largest great white sharks ever caught. It was over 7 meters long and weighed about 7,100 kilograms. Its head was brutally large, as were its teeth, and it went down in history as the Beast of Kojimar, a creature that definitely no one would want to cross. Number 2. The Creature of Legends. In the islands of the Bahamas, there is an ancient legend that kept its inhabitants under the deepest terror for centuries and even today continues to disturb the sailors of the Caribbean. Many know it by the name of Lusca, although they do not say it out too loud for fear of attracting it. It's generally described as a giant octopus whose upper torso is ruled by the body of a shark. Such a monstrosity generates enough horror in the imagination that these aren't the only characteristics of Lusca. According to legends, this monster inhabits the islands of Andros, in the deep sinkholes of its entrails, which are composed of almost an infinite system of underwater caves. From there, this beast is capable of creating all kinds of natural disasters, from destructive vortices from which no sailor has ever managed to escape, blue holes that suck in ships, and even whirlpools capable of destroying entire cruise ships. Nothing escapes Lusca's grasp, and while some people have managed to survive its fury, many prefer to forget what happened and never comment on it again. Lusca's victims are rarely the same. They all suffer from a powerful traumatic effect, and during the nights they still remember the image of the beast's tentacles and the screams of their companions who didn't manage to escape the horror. Number 1. Monstrous Birds. Another creature that seems to be torturing the minds of Caribbean sailors has an unusual but deeply chilling name. The natives of the islands of Andros refer to it as Chickcharnies, a demonic bird that can murder a grown man with a couple of smooth, swift movements. According to oral tradition, the Chickcarni inhabits the ancient pine forests of the island of Andros, although most of its time is spent flying over the Caribbean Sea in search of prey and humans to subject them to the harshest punishments. It's estimated that these birds measure a little more than 1 meter in length and are covered with fine feathers that can withstand gunshots. They are also characterized by 3-toed feet and piercing red eyes that seem to pierce the soul. However, there is something much more amazing about this beast. According to legends, those who treat it with courtesy and kindness are blessed with good fortune, while trying to chase it away can bring one of the worst curses. There is also a third option, and it's probably the main reason why sailors never smile when they see Caribbean birds. It's said that if you make fun of one of the Chickcharnies, this bird would swoop down on you and bring about an agonizing death full of horrors. Naturally, for many, these are nothing more than ancient legends that are gradually fading with the passage of time. However, the older ones are convinced that the sea is wise and the tradition hide great truths, even if we aren't able to penetrate them. The ocean is a dangerous and challenging place. No one knows what may be hidden in the depths, and it's always good to have some luck and caution when facing the unknown. However, you don't need any gadgets to do so. You just have to join us in one of the following videos and discover with us what our seas hide. Would you like to know some mysteries? Then it's time to move on. Join us once again and get ready to be surprised with the following videos.